making sure she know where I'm at. She making sure. Oh man, we gotta use these.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You learn anyway? You learn anyway?
No, I well sick. You stand in the picture. Yeah, and the bosses and them water cleaners. Oh, shucks, Carol, the lash come out, you know. It left. No go back. Left? Yeah. No go back. Why she?
This one.
Yeah, it lifted.
The little piece in the corner.
Let me see. Yours okay.
Okay.
Ah.
Okay. Good morning and
Hi.
welcome to
Welcome
the
to the
AGM Live.
AGM. Yes, Venice.
We're excited to be here, Onella.
I am. And after all the photos, wow.
We feel like local celebrities.
We do. We
took
do.
photos with the Edie.
That's
We
right.
took photos with Judith.
Mm-hmm.
We even took photos with Shoba.
Yes. Angeline, of course.
So we're testing our mics now to ensure that
It's quality.
It's quite sunny outside actually.
Yes.
Okay, I don't watch Game of Thrones, so.
Yes.
And speaking of Game of Thrones,
Yes.
Nala, do you watch that crap?
I
Yes,
watched
but
the last season with my
watched
husband.
none. I have
Just
not
to be
seen,
supportive.
I have not seen an episode of Game of Thrones, and I
Well,
could care less.
the finale was quite disappointing, I must
So
say.
everyone keeps saying, but
Yes.
if you were like me, who weren't watching it, you would not have been disappointed.
Point taken, Bernice. And Bernice, as you can see,
Yeah, ask him about the clip. The only clip I could use is the white one. The only clip that I could fit it is the white one. To use that? Alright. No problem. I think he in front. I think he in front. I don't know. Some ladies. Hold on. Alright. So one. Hold on.
Because they probably gonna put people on the side of us in Europe.
No.
They're gonna put people on the side of
Alright.
us in Europe. If I know how to
Hi, and welcome to the online broadcast of the Unit Trust Corporation's annual general meeting. I'm Hans Devines.
And I am Onala Mohan Ragnat. And we're so excited to have you here with us today, live at the National Academy for the Performing Arts. Hans, can you believe this is UTC's 37th AGM?
37 years of excellence, Onella. And this year's theme is Purpose, Passion, Partnership. And today we'll be hearing from UTC Chairman, the Honorable Mr. Justice Ralston Nelson, and the Executive Director, Mr. Nigel Edwards, as they give us some insight into the UTC's performance for the past year.
We'll also have a representative from the Auditor General's Department and a very special question and answer segment where our customers, including you, our online audience, can contribute their questions and have them answered live at the venue.
Definitely looking forward to that. But before we kick off today's official proceedings, we'd like to share a few things you might not know about the UTC and give you a little sneak peek behind the scenes.
Our on-site customer care representatives are hard at work today, and that's because we're currently on a drive to update customer information. And it doesn't end today. If you are a current customer, you can visit any of our investment centers or online agents anytime between now and December 31st to update your information for a chance to win fantastic prizes, including, Hans, a trip to New York City.
Now, I also heard that you're going to have the opportunity to win $5,000 worth of units added to the Big Apple trip. Now, when you can't come to UTC, UTC comes to you. The latest initiative, the UTC Caravan, will be rolling out very soon.
The UTC Caravan is a mobile service center where you'll be able to update your information, open a new account, and learn more about our products and services, as well as hear about our great initiatives like our UTC Foundation.
Speaking of the UTC Foundation, earlier this year, the UTC Foundation made a trip to Matura Beach where staff were able to help clean up ahead of the turtle nesting season. And I'm pretty sure you'll be hearing more about the UTC Foundation in a little while, but now it's time to turn you over to our co-host in the Red Room as we get ready to start the annual general meeting.
Thank you, Hans and Donella. And as you've just heard, we're preparing to bring you live coverage of the UTC's 37th Annual General Meeting. I am Candice Lively.
And I am Bernice Mayong. Candice, what can we expect to hear from the head table today?
Well, Bernice, over the next 60 minutes, there will be presentations by UTC's Chairman, Justice Ralston Nelson, the Executive Director, Mr. Nigel Edwards, a representative from the Auditor General's Department, as well as a question and answer segment.
And speaking about questions and answer segment, as a special bonus for you, our online viewers, anyone who submits a question through the comment section will have the opportunity to receive one of 3 awesome UTC gift packages.
Great stuff. So don't forget to send us some of your questions as they will be answered live at the venue, along with questions from our in-house audience.
Now, let's go stateside, where our Master of Ceremonies, the lovely Hema Ramkisoon, is introducing the Chairman, the Executive Director, the Board of Directors, and other members of the head table.
We wish to re-emphasize to please place your mobile phones on mute or silent for the duration of the meeting. A reminder that there also should be no eating or drinking in the auditorium. Once again, we'd like to welcome you to the Trinidad and Tobago Unit Trust Corporation 37th Annual General Meeting. It gives me great pleasure to introduce you at this time to members of the head table. We ask that they stand in acknowledgement when his or her name is read, and they are as follows. The Honorable Mr. Justice Ralston Nelson, Chairman of the Unit Trust Corporation. Mr. Nigel Edwards, Executive Director. Mr. Shiva Sinanan, Representative of the Auditor General's Office. Mr. Jonathan Walker, He's a member of our board of directors. Mr. Chip Sagomes. Mrs. Michelle Durham Kisoon. Mr. Ruben McSween. Ms. Laureen Camp. Ms. Anna Maria James. Mr. Dominic Rampersad. Ms. Helen Drayton. Mr. Douglas Camacho. Also seated with us this morning, Ms. Dawn Seepersad, Corporate Secretary and General Counsel of UTC. Not with us this morning is member of the board, that's Mr. John Tangyang, and we do apologize on his behalf. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. This AGM is also being streamed online via a live broadcast on UTC's website, and you can invite everyone to tune in at this time.
Just tuned in, you are viewing the UTC's 37th AGM live at Napa, Port of Spain.
HEMA is now introducing Justice Ralston Nelson, Chairman of the UTC, to deliver the Chairman's report.
I would now like to invite to the lectern Mr. Justice Ralston Nelson, the Chairman, to deliver his review. Ladies and gentlemen, Justice Nelson.
Good morning, unit holders. Members of the Board of Directors, Mr. Shiva Sinanan, Acting Assistant Auditor General of the Auditor General's Department, specially invited guests, the Enterprise Leadership Team, UTC team members, unit holders, and those joining us online, media representatives, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 37th Annual General Meeting of the Trinidad and Tobago Unit Trust Corporation, and it is my honor and privilege to serve as chairman. As your trusted financial institution, we fulfill a critical responsibility and statutory requirement with this meeting. But I can assure you that it represents a great deal more than that. As chairman of the Unit Trust Corporation, I have met with unit holders from all walks of life who have expressed their appreciation for this meeting. It presents an opportunity to understand how the UTC has performed over the year, but also to have a clear view of the position and mindset of the men and women whose responsibility it is to secure your investment and take this corporation forward. Whether you are a first-time investor who is unsure of the next step in investing, the savvy investor who watches commodity prices and global market shifts, the entrepreneur looking for safety and security for their investment, or the long-standing unit holder looking after their retirement, ultimately, you want to secure your financial future and that of your family. With almost 37 years in the business of mutual fund management and investment, the Unit Trust Corporation has provided security for our unit holders, and we look forward to being able to do this for many years to come. Once again, we are pleased to report another successful year of performance, a reflection of our continued focus and drive to build a strong, sustainable business that remains relevant to the needs of our expanding and evolving cadre of unit holders. Purpose, passion, and partnership underpin our commitment to delivery, innovation, and service excellence. It is rooted in our history of building lasting relationships with our clients, stakeholders, and partners across the communities where we operate. One of the principles upon which the Unit Trust Corporation was founded was building a strong savings and investment ethos across the country. We wanted to dispel the notion that investment was for a privileged few and that it was meant for everyone. We will continue to deliver on our mandate to foster a culture of savings and investment that allows everyone access to the capital markets. In many respects, the Unit Trust Corporation, through its business activities, public education, and community outreach, continues to make a difference in the lives of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. For us, this is being done through the UTC Foundation, which was set up in 2017. Under the Foundation's pillars, namely education, financial well-being, and environmental citizenship, we focus on transforming people's lives and empowering individuals and communities to share in the vision of a better country. Let me share with you what our foundation achieved in 2018. Under our education pillar, we expanded the SEA scholarship program from 20 to 37 new students in 2018, bringing it to approximately 200 students who have benefited since the SEA's inception in 1996. Our goal is to provide the tools to help our children realize their academic dreams. We lengthened our strides under the financial well-being pillar, where we focus on community-based learning aimed at helping participants to make the right financial decisions. Workshops were conducted by UTC team members in the communities of Sangre Grande, Carenage, Bon Accord, and Bethel. Our objective is to continue to expand our financial management footprint in the communities across the country. We are also energized by what we have accomplished under our environmental pillar. For the 2018 International Coastal Cleanup Day, we partnered with the Institute of Marine Affairs for phase 1 of the coastal rehabilitation at the foreshore in Cocorite. Our team members were encouraged to reduce their carbon footprint by having a paperless week. In doing so, the corporation reduced paper consumption by $250,000 and stationery costs by $50,000. Cost savings which can benefit our unit holders. UTC also partnered with United Way, IAM Movement, and National Quarries to work on the Rehabilitation of Quarries project, a 4-year project aimed at rehabilitating abandoned quarry pits in Valencia. We worked with the Fonzamand Community Reforestation Project in St. Anne's in a pilot project to replant areas under stress. This is how we are bringing value to what we do. Our work does not end, however, as we continue to witness an increase in millennial investors between the ages of 18 and 35. We must continue to find ways to connect with this new community of young investors who are looking for the right products, services, and information to help them make informed decisions about their future. Our efforts to embrace them while ensuring our company remains relevant to the needs of all our unit holders are among reasons why our 2020 strategic plan is our compass. The Board of Directors and the Unit Trust Corporation leadership have been working assiduously to ensure that our business remains focused on meeting your needs. You will hear shortly from our Executive Director on how we have performed under our strategic plan. He will share with you how we leverage technology and innovation to refine our customer value position and engineer our business strategies to keep you coming through our doors. We are encouraged by the results we are seeing across the business, and when we look at our numbers, as reflected in this year's annual report, you can understand why. It is demonstrated in our prudent management of $21.7 billion in funds under management, and in our 86% rating in our customer satisfaction survey, an increase of 11.6% over 2017. This year, we saw changes to our board of directors. The term of Mr. Leonardo Ambrose expired on April 15, 2019, and Mrs. Helen Drayton's term will expire on June 24, 2019. Both board members have served with distinction and professionalism. I would like to take this opportunity to express my heartfelt thanks and sincere appreciation for their efforts in helping to build a UTC that is distinctive from the rest of the financial sector. Their unstinting service and high level of expertise, coupled with their diligence and commitment over the years, were instrumental in helping us achieve our business goals. They contributed mightily in moving us forward. I now have the distinct pleasure of welcoming Mr. Chip Sagomes to our distinguished board. Mr. Sagomes is a financial services professional with over 20 years' experience in the local and regional financial markets. He has served as chairman, director, and senior executive of publicly listed and private financial services companies, both in Trinidad and Barbados, and contributed significantly to the growth of insurance, investment banking, and consumer finance business sectors in this country, in these countries. Mr. Sagomes currently manages an investment advisory firm and serves as a non-executive director of a consumer finance company. He is a CFA charter holder and holds an MBA from the University of Florida and a BSc Electrical Engineering with honors from the University of Texas. My fellow board members and I look forward to his contribution. I feel privileged to lead a group of directors that is resolute and rigorous in the pursuit of the best interests of the UTC and the unit holders. That said, there is much more building to do. This is no time for the UTC to rest on its laurels. Our world today is in an unprecedented flux, and there is uncertainty that comes with change, but we are unfazed and prepared. We have our existing customers to accommodate who have stayed the course with us, and we are building our team to help extend their reach. More than anything else, we will meet the future needs of our investors. Our goal is to bring value to you in these challenging economic times. We continue to look for new ways to do business, not only because we operate in a competitive, ever-evolving environment, but because you, our unit holders and stakeholders, demand it of us. One of the ways we will continue to do so is by working harder to get the much-needed changes in the current legislation that governs the Unit Trust Corporation to enable us to truly compete and to grow. As I said in my chairman's report, I would have liked to deliver more positive news on our legislative progress, but we will not be deterred in our efforts to bring the changes into effect. Allow me to extend my gratitude to Mr. Ian Chinapu, our former executive director, who during his term was pivotal in leading the strategic direction and continuing the legacy of building a strong and sustainable UTC. It must be noted that in succeeding Mr. Chinapu, Mr. Nigel Edwards has distinguished himself as a servant leader who has championed people development, community and customer engagement while embracing the shift in technology and innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for joining us today, and I look forward to an informative and engaging meeting. I thank you.
And we've just heard from Justice Ralston Nelson, our chairman, who delivered the chairman's report.
We now have a special presentation of tokens for the first millennial who signed up for today's AGM, our youngest attendee, and one lucky unit holder who's celebrating their birthday today.
Nice.
Unit holder and the first millennial to pre-register for today's meeting. To present our tokens of appreciation, I would like to invite the chairman, Justice Nelson, to the front of the stage. And at this time, we'd like to call our youngest registered unit holder, Mr. Tevin Caballo, and our first registered millennial, Mr. Nestor Delandro. Both will receive UTC branded hampers. They're making their way down. Come. A round of applause, Mrs. Caraballo. Just a reminder that Tevin is the youngest registered unit holder. That in itself is an accomplishment. Good financial investing. Thank you very much, Justice Nelson. The Unit Trust Corporation would also like to acknowledge a very special unit holder today. She's celebrating her birthday. We'd ask our Executive Director, Mr. Nigel Edwards, to do the honors as we welcome Miss Joan Weeks. Happy birthday, Joan. There she is. And because it's Joan's birthday, in addition to her hamper, she's going to have lunch for two at the Hyatt Regency Hotel.
Thank you.
That's not all, Joan. There's something else as well. Thank you very much. I know earlier we did mention that we were celebrating a lot of achievements today, and we did have Mrs. Caraballo, that's Tevin's mother. Our first registered millennial, that's Mr. Nestor Delandro. Is Lester in the audience? No family member. I'm almost certain that the customer care reps will definitely get in contact with you. Thank you very much, Mr. Edwards. At this time, I also, again, would like to invite Mr. Edwards to the lectern to present his first Executive Director's report. Ladies and gentlemen, let's warmly welcome Mr. Edwards.
Welcome back, guys. It's a pleasure to have so many of our unit holders here with us today. We'd especially like to thank you, our online audience.
Now we'll take you backstage side where the Executive Director, Mr. Nigel Edwards, is about to
Tobago Unit Trust Corporation, fellow board members, Mr. Shiva Sinanan, Acting Assistant Auditor General, the Enterprise Leadership Team, specially invited guests, UTC team members, unit holders, and our online viewing audience on www.ttutc.com. media representatives, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning and welcome. I don't have to read this part. It's indeed a pleasure for me to be here presenting to you for my first AGM as the Executive Director of the Unit Trust Corporation. Having attended several AGMs in the past, I've always admired the high level of attendance and the keen interest that you, our unit holders, and our key stakeholders display. Just today, I understand that some of our unit holders arrived here as early as 6:30 this morning, showing how anxious you are to hear of the corporation's progress. And so, I sincerely thank you for being here and for showing the level of interest that you have in the corporation's business and affairs. And I thank you for sharing this, your precious time with us today. To those who are viewing online and on our social media platforms, welcome. We know and we appreciate that you take our business seriously and that you care about what your corporation is doing. And so it is particularly humbling and exciting for me to talk to you about the achievements of the corporation for 2018. As you entered, you would have been presented with a package of our 2018 annual report. It contains the Chairman's and Executive Director's message to investors, the UTC's 2018 fund and performance highlights, and the work of the UTC Foundation. This condensed version is in support of our environmental pillar under the foundation that seeks to minimize our carbon footprint. Thank you. And by the way, and in keeping with our reduction of the carbon footprint, I'm also using non-paper platform for reading and presenting my speech. It's in these small ways that we are trying to make a tangible effort to preserve our fragile environment. Of course, for a full version of the annual report, you can feel free to visit our website at www.ttutc.com. As you know, ladies and gentlemen, we're always looking for innovative ways to strengthen our business and to expand our customer base so that more people can access our products and services. As such, we've designed a pop-up investment center. So many of you may have noticed as you came in that there's a caravan outside. That caravan that you see is designed to provide many of the services that we conduct at our investment centers. We're catering to those customers who don't always find it convenient to come into our investment centers or to our agencies. So please look out for this coming to an area near you very soon. This is a tremendous opportunity to engage directly with you and to develop new relationships in the community, whether there's an investment center or agency in your community or not. I urge you to visit the caravan before you leave, and as in keeping with the Unit Trust's generosity and dedication to you, I assure you that there will be a prize for the first person to open an account in the caravan. 2018 was a challenging year for us, and we continued, as many others, to navigate the global economic headwinds that threatened the stability of our sector and the national economy. The volatility of the global economy has shaken the confidence of many investors, but I assure you that it has not shaken our resolve. We know that we have a duty to make decisions that are financially responsible and that create financial well-being for all our unit holders and for future generations. As the corporation navigates its 37th year with a history of robust performance, longevity, and strong financial stability, we've consistently sought to provide a place of safety and security for our unit holders and stakeholders. I'm particularly proud of what our team, many of them represented here, many of them hard at work as we speak, our team of 528 strong has been able to accomplish in our business and our engagement with the community. I would love if you can applaud my team as I thank them. 2018 was also a year of staying focused on our business goals. This being the third year of our strategic plan with a focus on strengthening our business, streamlining our operations, and building a more sustainable company. Given the competitive business environment, we've had to carefully match our decades of experience and in-house expertise with innovation and shrewd and prudent decisions to enhance your customer experience and to provide competitive returns. We have a history of strong leadership at the UTC, men and women who have sought to build a solid, sustainable company and who have been committed to our country's development. I must pay tribute to my predecessor, Ian Chilupu, he's here in the audience, for his tremendous stewardship of our business. Thank you, Ian. As you may have noticed from this year's annual report, we've made a few changes. We were the first financial services institution in the Caribbean to introduce an integrated annual report that's aligned to international integrated reporting standards. This year's report, as stated in the introductory pages, reflects our journey over the past year. As investors become more sophisticated about their finances, we too must become innovative and flexible in how we operate and how we meet your needs. With that in mind, we've made the report more easily digestible for our customers. Our goal was to keep it simple while staying aligned to industry norms and practices and providing information in a transparent and palatable manner. We want our unit holders and key stakeholders to have a clear picture of our progress and to help you make informed decisions about your investments. We welcome your feedback on how we could make it even better as we go forward. Now I'm pleased to highlight our 2018 financial performance. During 2018, we increased our distribution payments to unit holders by 26%, or over $50 million compared to 2017, paying a total of $249.3 million, a remarkable achievement given the challenging conditions. Also this year, we increased the distribution to unit holders in the Growth and Income Fund by 117%, from the $36 million in 2017 to $78.7 million, a performance that we're all very proud of. Further, for the first time in the history of the Growth and Income Fund, the funds under management crossed the $5 billion mark this year. As of April 30th, 2019, the funds under management on the Growth and Income Fund stood at $5.2 billion. The success of the Growth and Income Fund has surpassed our original expectations. Many people in Trinidad and Tobago, as you know, are now sophisticated, responsible investors, and as such, we at the UTC continue to look for new ways that are aligned to industry best practice to bring value to you. I now move to some of the other key performance highlights, including growth in total assets to $22 billion, growth in customer base by 1.3%, up from 609,574 to 617,464 unit holders. And there's a reason I went to the full number, because that increase in part is a result of us specifically targeting new unit holders between 18 and 35 years old. And our outreach to you, young unit holders, will continue. Amongst the other achievements, cash flow generation of $514 million. Favorable returns in our mutual fund portfolios with our two fixed income funds, the TT Dollar Income Fund and the US Dollar Income Fund, outperforming their respective benchmarks in 2018. Additionally, as at April 30th, 2019, the TT Dollar Income Fund has surpassed our targets and climbing once again to our all-time high of $11.3 billion under management. In the year, we also increased our overall market share to 48.2%, a 2.9% increase over 2017. I say once again that these results would not have been achieved without the dedication of our ttutc team members, our loyal unit holders, yourselves, and key stakeholders and partners throughout this country. As part of our ongoing commitment, our objective is to streamline our operations to meet market changes and enhance our competitiveness, with the overarching aim of increasing our returns to you, our unit holders. Our financial performance in 2018 was impacted by the application of new international financial reporting standards, and also by the decision to close the North American Fund, which was formerly known as the Shokonia Growth and Income Fund. The new international financial reporting standards, which are global accounting rules required for financial reporting, were adopted on January 1, 2018, and they required substantial revision to our accounting policies and classification of our financial assets. As I said, we also took the strategic decision to close the North America Fund in December of 2018, recognizing that it had not grown sufficiently since its inception in 1993, and as such, it became more expensive and negatively impacted the returns to our unit holders. Unit holders were also impacted by some other operational issues, including the non-acceptance of US dollar third-party checks, which started in August of 2018. And for us, and we know for you as well, it was a hard pill to swallow. Due to foreign regulatory requirements, however, across the financial sector, the corporation was advised by our bankers that they will no longer be accepting these checks, and that was effective August 30th, 2018. Of course, customers who wish to deposit US checks into your accounts, you can still do so by having the checks made payable to the Trinidad and Tobago Unit Trust Corporation. But as an alternative, you can also utilize services such as U-Online or the electronic wire transfer services. And of course, if you do that, it allows the banks to transfer funds directly into your unit trust account, where the funds are immediately available for your use. Another issue I wish to raise is the limited availability of foreign currency. Again, no surprise to this audience. However, unlike the commercial banks, UTC is not a primary dealer in foreign exchange. And as such, we're not in receipt of an allocation from the central bank. Our supply of US dollars is dependent on what we can purchase from customers and what is bought from other financial institutions. And as you know, the foreign exchange market is extremely restricted. So we'll ensure that as many of our unit holders as possible have access to the limited funds available. Customers in the US Income Fund, of course, can access their funds via the US Visa card, wire transfer, or checks in an unlimited manner. Unit holders, you all asked for this, and we listened. I'm happy to announce, after years of hearing from you, we've made a decision to cease printing of unit holder statements on account with low balances and inactivity. This applies where there has been no generated activity for 12 consecutive months on the account, and the account has a balance of less than $100 for the TT accounts, or if it's a US account, an amount of less than $20, and if the account is not associated with a Visa card. In these circumstances, no statements will be printed and distributed, removing the need for your concerns about wastage due to sending statements on de minimis accounts. These changes have been implemented in 2019. Throughout 2018, we were focused on strengthening our technological capabilities to make it easier to do business across all customer touchpoints. Whether you're a long-standing legacy unit holder or you're new to our products and services, we understand that you want to feel secure and confident when you transact business with us. And so we're committed to staying the course of our transformation. We're seeing the impact of the changes in our business and in the deepening of our relationship with you, our unit holders. We've made some significant strides and we've taken critical decisions as part of our business strategy. This strategy, captured in our 5-year strategic plan, has not changed from what our board of directors approved in 2015. We're seeing the results and continue to focus on key aspects, including enhanced customer engagement throughout our business where every UTC team member sees themselves as working on the front line to deliver service excellence for our unit holders. At the same time, they have to achieve goals and targets, but you are their current priority. And that's every single UTC team member, whether on the front line or not, focused on serving you. Our customers have to be satisfied that they're getting the best advice and counsel on how to manage their finances and how to grow their investments whenever they interact with a UTC team member. We've been leveraging technology to deliver effective financial solutions that cater to the needs of our clients today and for the future. And we've been developing a more meaningful social investment strategy that is aligned to our purpose and is focused and far-reaching in its commitment to our communities. Our chairman spoke earlier about the UTC Foundation and how we have made strides in our communities. So I want to share with you a short video highlighting the work done by our team members.
We're up at the National Quarries and we're working closely with I Am Movement to rehabilitate the quarry space.
The Unit Trust Corporation partnered with the Institute of Marine Affairs to clean up the wetlands. Executive Director of the UTC, Nigel Edwards, says it's not the first time the corporation has taken part in such an activity.
The Unit Trust Corporation has been involved in projects of this nature before. The foundation simply helps us to channel our activities into a very focused set of activities and to help us to bring resources to where we think they're needed the most.
It was a wonderful experience, a lot of entertaining moments with regards to the ideas that these children might have.
Seeing them coming into the community and sharing with us how to grow and how to plan better, I think that's really important to me as a young adult. To me, it's a real good thing. It's really helpful.
Today, I learned a lot about financing and how to manage my finances.
This session was really lively. Got to interact with a lot of people.
One thing that really stood out to me was the vision board that we had. Where we as young people, we tend to have plenty of ideas and then we put it off or we procrastinate.
I've actually been to other financial seminars, but this one has taught me a lot.
The information that I gained today, I'm going to share that with my friends and encourage them.
So my day was very good. Thanks to UTC for the educational material that they give to us, and I hope that it continue to empower young people with knowledge. Thank you.
I came out today for the first time. I didn't know what to expect, but being out here, it was so energizing, even for me. The students were all in, they were engaged, I had fun, I had fun.
I've been a part of the UTC scholarship program for 5 years now.
3 years now.
For 1 year.
And I attend St. Joseph Convent, St. Joseph.
Presentation College should go on us.
Since last year.
Since 2014.
4 years now.
I passed for Naparima Girls High School.
Fatima College.
And Naparima Girls High School.
St. Mary's College.
Holy Faith Convent, Pinal.
2011. For 2 years, St. Mary's College, and this program has been fundamental to me in many ways.
This
this has impacted me in such a big way.
They teach you things that you will use in life.
And they teach you so many amazing things here that you just carry with you.
Ever since last year, I just looking forward to this again. I just wish it was longer, like forever.
It's an amazing program, and I'm so thankful to be a part of it.
The impact it had on my life was tremendous, and I could never, ever thank them and repay them enough.
Just a snippet of some of the activities during the last year. And of course, we'll continue to work through the UTC Foundation to create lasting impact in all our pillars of education, financial well-being, environmental citizenship. Ladies and gentlemen, the recent application by the CARICRIS of a high credit rating to UTC for its, and I quote, robust risk management framework, continued good investment portfolio performance, and good financial performance and operational efficiency validates that we're on the right track. This rating came after a rigorous voluntary assessment by CARICRIS, and we're delighted to share this news with you. This rating puts us amongst the highest rated in Trinidad, with only one grade above us occupied by the sovereign. The rating, which is a CARI AA on the regional rating scale and TTAA on the Trinidad and Tobago scale, indicate the corporation's level of creditworthiness compared to other financial institutions in Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean. CARICRIS has also assigned a stable outlook on the rating, which is premised on the expectation that UTC will continue to maintain a generally stable credit profile over the next 12 to 15 months. This rating, we think, is testament to the hard work not only of our current team members, but to all those who've contributed to our successes in past years, and to all those who have made the corporation the dominant presence in the mutual fund sector in the English-speaking Caribbean. And we thank all who have contributed to the development of the corporation up to this time. At the UTC, we see ourselves as playing a bigger role in the development of our entrepreneurs, those people who are closely tied to the growth and development of our economy. Increasingly, our young people are establishing their own businesses, and we want to support this country's entrepreneurial sector. How? By offering financial management expertise, creating an enabling environment where they have access to capital and where they have exposure on how to leverage investing for their businesses. To give flight to this strategy, the UTC endorsed support for the 2018 Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award with a sponsorship of $15,000 US. The EY initiative was an integral part of the 14th Champions of Business Awards held by the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce. With UTC's support, the awardees, Startup Entrepreneur Award recipient Vandana Mangru, who is the founder and CEO of Hello Green Limited, Emerging Entrepreneur Award recipient Nolana Lynch of Eco Truffles Limited, and Small to Medium-Sized Entrepreneur Award recipient Michelle Sohan of Bakery Treats were all afforded the opportunity to attend Ernst & Young's Strategic Growth Forum in California. At this prestigious event, the entrepreneurs benefited from guidance on strategic planning, on innovation and succession planning from top CEOs, entrepreneurs, investors, and financial advisors from around the world. These financial advisors, these CEOs, shared their experience on entrepreneurship and on the nuts and bolts of building a sustainable company. The team was also able to see the major benefits of being able to scale up their investments by sight of the potential of a large market such as the US. For us, this initiative signals our commitment to supporting our nation's young visionaries and innovators and helping them realize their business dreams and goals. Around the world, entrepreneurs are essential drivers of innovation, job creation, and socioeconomic development. And the UTC is keen to be part of this entrepreneurial thrust locally. We continue to put our support behind the right programs and initiatives that seek to bolster entrepreneurs so they can build strong, sustainable businesses. And we must remain focused on building a flexible, efficient business that can continue to serve the investment needs of all our clients. We will remain your partners for life. As I close, allow me to extend a special thank you to the Board of Directors, and in particular to our Chairman, Retired Justice Ralston Nelson. The Board really appreciate the sound direction and support that you've given over the past year. And on a personal note, I extend my gratitude for your continued guidance. Thank you. I've relished, and I know this is not the first time that I've said this, but I really have relished the opportunity this past year to work with a team of dedicated professionals who were willing to embrace challenges and who are continually seeking out excellence. And so I thank every member of my team, of the colleagues that work alongside me, for their support, for their guidance, and for their commitment over the year. And I look forward to your continued support. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
That was the Executive Director's report delivered by Mr. Nigel Edwards. Denise, moving ahead, we're going to do a lot of work with entrepreneurship.
So look forward to that.
That's right. So go ahead and send in your questions that you'd like to have answered. Remember, our team will be responding live to some of them in our Q&A segment.
That things are going to turn around, not just for UTC, but for every single unit holder here. I would also now like to call the Auditor General's representative, Mr. Shiva Sinnan, to present the Auditor General's report. Mr. Sinnan.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. The Chairman of the Board, the Honorable Justice Ralston Nelson, other board members, the Executive Director, Mr. Nigel Edwards, special invited guests, employees of the Trinidad and Tobago Unit Trust Corporation, members of the print and electronic media, unit holders of the Trinidad and Tobago Unit Trust Corporation. Good morning. On behalf of the Auditor General of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, I now read for you the audit report. This report can be found on page 68 of your annual report booklets. To the Board of Directors, Trinidad and Tobago Unit Trust Corporation. Report of the Auditor General of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago on the consolidated financial statements of the Trinidad and Tobago Unit Trust Corporation for the year ended 31st December 2018. Opinion. The consolidated financial statements of the Trinidad and Tobago Unit Trust Corporation, the corporation, for the year ended 31st December 2018 have been audited. The statements as set out on pages 1 to 67 comprise a consolidated statement of financial position as at 31st December 2018, a consolidated statement of profit or loss, a consolidated statement of comprehensive income, a consolidated statement of changes in equity, and a consolidated statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and notes to the consolidated financial statements numbered 1 to 34, including a summary of significant accounting policies. In my opinion, the accompanying consolidated financial statements present fairly, in all material respects, the consolidated financial position of the Trinidad and Tobago Unit Trust Corporation as at 31st December 2018, and its consolidated financial performance and its consolidated cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards, IFRS. Basis for opinion. The audit was conducted in accordance with accepted auditing standards. The Auditor General's responsibilities under those standards are further described in the Auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statements section of this report. The Auditor General is independent of the corporation in accordance with the ethical requirements that are relevant to the audit of the financial statements, and other ethical responsibilities have been fulfilled in accordance with these requirements. It is my view that the audit evidence obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for my opinion. Responsibilities of management and those charged with governance for the financial statements. Management of the corporation is responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of these consolidated financial statements in accordance with IFRS, and for such internal control as management determines is necessary to enable the preparation of consolidated financial statements that are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. In preparing the consolidated financial statements, management is responsible for assessing the corporation's ability to continue as a going concern, disclosing, as applicable, matters related to going concern, and using the going concern basis of accounting unless management either intends to liquidate the corporation or to cease operations or has no realistic alternative but to do so. Those charged with governance are responsible for overseeing the corporation's financial reporting process. Auditors' responsibilities for the audit of the financial statements. The Auditor General's responsibility is to express an opinion on these consolidated financial statements based on the audit and to report thereon in accordance with Section 30, Paragraph 4 of the Unit Trust Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago Act, Chapter 8303. The Auditor General's objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an audit report that includes his opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but it is not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with auditing standards will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. Misstatements can arise from fraud or error and are considered material if, individually or in the aggregate, could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decisions of users taken on the basis of these financial statements. As part of an audit, in accordance with accepted auditing standards, the Auditor General exercises professional judgment and maintains professional skepticism throughout the audit. The Auditor General also identifies and assesses the risks of material misstatement of the financial statements, whether due to fraud or error, designs and performs audit procedures responsive to those risks, and obtains audit evidence that is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for an opinion. The risk of detecting a material misstatement from fraud is higher than one resulting from error, as fraud may involve collusion, forgery, intentional omissions, misrepresentations, or the override of internal control. Obtains an understanding of internal control relevant to the audit in order to design audit procedures that are appropriate in the circumstances, but not for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of internal control of the corporation. Evaluates the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of accounting estimates and related disclosures made by management. Concludes on the appropriateness of management's use of the going concern basis of accounting and, based on the audit evidence obtained, whether a material uncertainty exists related to events or conditions that may cast significant doubt on the ability of the corporation to continue as a going concern. If the Auditor General concludes that a material uncertainty exists, the Auditor General is required to draw attention in his audit report to the related disclosures in the financial statements, or, if such disclosures are inadequate, to modify his opinion. The Auditor General's conclusions are based on the audit evidence obtained up to the date of his audit report. However, future events or conditions may cause the corporation to cease to continue as a going concern. Evaluate the overall presentation, structure, and content of the financial statements, including the disclosures and whether the financial statements represent the underlying transactions and events in a manner that achieves fair presentation. Obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence regarding the financial information of the entities or business activities within the corporation to express an opinion on the consolidated financial statements. The Auditor General is responsible for the direction, supervision, and performance of the audit of the corporation. The Auditor General remains solely responsible for his audit opinion. The Auditor General communicates with those charged with governance regarding, among other matters, the planned scope and timing of the audit and significant audit findings, including any significant deficiencies in internal control that were identified during the audit. Majid Ali, Auditor General, 20th of March 2019, Port of Spain. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
That was
Mr.
the
Sinha.
Auditor General's report delivered by Mr. Shiva Sinanan. Now we'd like to remind you, if you'd like to submit your question for a live Q&A segment and possibly receive a lovely gift package in our random draw, this is your last chance.
Let's now listen to the Q&A segment.
We've now arrived at the question and answer session, where we give you, the unit holders, the opportunity to share your feedback. Before we start, let's introduce our investment center managers to address any concerns that you may have. Managers, please stand so that you can be acknowledged. You can also give them a round of applause because they're here and ready to assist. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I now would like to invite our moderator for this segment, Ms. Simone Downer, the manager of Port of Spain's Investment Centre, to the lectern.
Good morning to our unit holders. And again, I would like to warmly welcome every one of you to our AGM. My name is Simone Downer, and I am the Investment Centre Manager of Port of Spain. I have the distinct pleasure of being your moderator for today's question and answer session. I would like to take this opportunity to reiterate that your comments and questions are important to the Unit Trust Corporation. Our annual general meeting is designed to ensure that you are given a voice as we continue to serve and seek ways to address the needs of our valued unit holders. Just a few guidelines, however, before we proceed. We have assigned an estimated 30 minutes for this session. And guys, 30 minutes is not very long. That's our time. To ensure that we get as much feedback as possible, we ask that each person pose no more than 2 questions to our head table. Let us please try to keep the questions very tight, as we would like to give as many of you the opportunity to pose your questions this morning. Our chairman, Justice Ralston Nelson, has designated our executive director, Mr. Nigel Edwards, to field all your questions and comments this morning. He's in the hot seat, guys. Our investment center managers, who you all would have just been introduced to, or representatives, are also present to address any concerns you may have. So if we run out of time and cannot address your question, please meet with them in the foyer outside, or we have a customer care booth where our UTC representatives wearing one of these, ask me, I'm happy to help, will be present to assist you. The UTC mantra is to foster and maintain the good relationships between ourselves and our unit holders. Therefore, we ask that all comments and questions shared today are done respectfully as we proceed. You now will have the opportunity to meet our lovely assistants. Ladies and gentlemen, can you take your positions, please? All right? They are our moderator assistants. And what we're going to ask you to do, let me introduce them first to you. We have Erica, we have Janice, we have Jolene, we have Tennille, we have Sean, our lone man. Give him a hand, ladies and gentlemen. He probably intimidated. And of course, we have Aisha. They are equipped to assist you by holding the mics while you make your contributions. Should you have a question, please make your way to the aisle. We need everyone to make their way to the aisle. To the nearest moderator assistant, state your name loudly and clearly into the microphone before you begin. We are seeking to address any questions based on financial performance first, followed by any other matters. As I give each of you a few seconds to position yourself where it's most comfortable for you, I will take 2 questions from our online audiences. First, Nigel, are you ready? First question, are there any plans to introduce an app to help with unit holders to manage their investment while on the go?
That's a question that I feel somebody planted just for me, because I love the delivery of services through technology, and the corporation has embarked on technological transformation. This started during the course of last year and continues. So the short answer to the question is absolutely yes. We do plan on implementing a mobile app. The timing will be determined by our capable, competent team, and they know that I'm always anxious sooner rather than later. Having said that, I just want to say one thing about the unit trust technology. The unit trust technology platform, as exists today, was written by local team members of the Trinidad and Tobago Unit Trust Corporation, entirely. Now, that's the platform on which we've operated for nearly 30 years. Where we're ramping up needs very quick and transformative technology, and the process of changing that out will take us a little bit of time. I'm saying all of that to say, if you don't see an app within the next 2 months, don't lose patience with us, because we do have to gut the entire system and transform it. But absolutely, we are planning on an app, releasing an app soon.
Thank you, Nigel. Next question from our online audiences, while we continue to wait for our in-house audiences to go to one of our assistants. Nigel, question. Given the current economy of Trinidad and Tobago, when is a good time to access funds saved at the Unit Trust Corporation?
Anytime. Oh, sorry. A number of people from the audience answered for me. Anytime. The Unit Trust Corporation, we ensure that your funds are safe and securely available. What I would suggest is that the benefit of investing through the corporation is that you get the discipline. If you apply the discipline of investment, then you get the benefit of it at the appropriate time. So many people invest because they have specific objectives, and we encourage that, and we encourage you to have our team members help you to determine what the right mix of investments is to get to your investment goals, to arrive at your investment goals. Having said that, once you maintain the discipline, we are convinced that we will make the returns for you that will help you access those funds at any time that you want to.
Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's address your comments or questions in the room. Erica, do you have someone? Okay. Members, state your name clearly for us, please.
Pleasant morning, ladies and gentlemen. You hear me now? Yes. Okay, the name is Stanley Jones. First of all, Mr. Nigel Edwards, on behalf of the unit trust holders, we'd like to welcome you and wish you all the best on your executive chairmanship.
Thank you.
Secondly, if I can take a leaf from your page, you said preserve our fragile environment. From time to time, I have received statements, and it mentions about the non-continuance or the stopping of the debit card to use overseas. My contention or my point of issue is that is it possible that because the circumstances that caused that is through no fault of the unit holders, particularly retirees, is it possible that, I'm not saying the fee could be waived, but could be lessened? Because in my instance, I go overseas from time to time, in the Caribbean, and I used to have that privilege. I don't have it again. That's number one. And secondly, while I was en route to this establishment, outside there, a unit holder in front of me, I overheard them saying that they pre-registered, I don't know, twice. And the attendant said that they had some kind of computer glitch. And I find that was somewhat disconcerting. So I am pleading again. This is my second. Last year, I gave the pledge, and I'm giving it again. Could you all please liaise closer with the agencies? Because I had the same problem last year with the same pre-registering. So I'm asking, please, Mr. Edwards and the board, if you all could liaise more to make it less disconcerting for the unit trust holders. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Nigel.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. So starting with the second question first, we'll certainly liaise with the service providers and see how we can improve and enhance the process. And we appreciate the feedback. On the first issue that you raised, which I think primarily deals with the lower fees for retirees potentially in respect of Visa cards, it is something that we are looking to see if it's possible. One of the challenges of a mutual fund arrangement is that you need to ensure that all members of the fund get the same benefits, and so that includes the costs being spread equally and evenly amongst all. So we're still researching whether it's possible to allow for groups, for example, retirees, to benefit from lower charges. As soon as we determine that, we'll have that feedback, and if possible, implement something that's useful to our retirees and others. Thank you.
Janice.
My name is Philip Joseph. Good morning to everyone. Mr. Edwards, would you guarantee that we would not have a mistake again to ever happen with unit trust pertaining to the Shaconia now North American, that failure. The second point, the unit trust should be able to establish or distinguish between the TT dollar income and the growth income to customers, more defined. When you buy that, I realize that sometimes you fail to get the proper interest or what you deserve in terms of the board funds. When you go to buy it, you don't get that information as clearly as you wanted to get. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph.
Mr. Joseph, I think I may have to get some clarification on the second point afterwards. So I'll make sure that one of our investment center managers has a chat with you, so they could understand more clearly what the second concern was. Having said that, I think we are committed to ensuring that people understand the products. If I were to think through last year, I think the number of seminars that we've done nationally exceeded 250 seminars, and that's just to get people to understand the products, to get people to understand the basics of investing. So we're very keen to ensure that you understand what you're investing in and why. So if there are specific issues, I'll have a member of the team chat with you afterwards. On your first point, the Shakonia, I think the corporation was well intended and in 1993, and with the best information available to it, launched the Shakonia Fund. The reality is that after several years in existence, that fund had only got up to $43.5 million of funds under management. In that industry and in that space, it simply does not give you the kind of scale to allow for us to manage that competitively. And so a part of it was simply due to the size and complexity of the market and the competitiveness of that market. We will continue to do everything in our power to ensure that there are no missteps going forward. The reality of the Shakonia Fund is that there were years when that fund was the #1 fund in the world and was celebrated on the likes of CNN, for example. So there were periods in its history where it performed exceedingly well. It just did not, over time, get to critical mass.
Thank you. Aisha.
Good morning. My name is Lana O'Keefe. My question will be very short. I just wondered if the unit trust had given consideration to the fact that between the ages of 60 and 65, there's a bit of a shortcoming with NIS having outdated records and then the Ministry of Social Development not being in the position to help you until the age of 65. So I just wondered if any consideration could be given to that window to support the members who perhaps may have a little financial situation.
Thank you, Ms. O'Keefe.
Ms. O'Keefe, I think the best way that we can help you is to help you to plan for that that period between 60 and 65.
Yes.
And we would be delighted to ensure that, and by the way, this is something I told people that when my first financial product was purchased when I was 23 years old, and that was a retirement product. At 23 years old, I was thinking what would happen at 60. And so, Mrs. O'Keefe, to the extent that we could get some of the 18 to 35s as well to start thinking of what happens in the 60 to 65 period, we're happy to help you to plan for that and to ensure that your investments are ready and available for you so that you don't have an uncomfortable 5-year wait.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just put a plug in for what Nigel is saying there, because you all are looking at me here now and understand that in 30-something days, I go home on retirement. And the reason being is because I planned. I opened the URF, and at the lovely age of 40, you know, oh gosh, I can afford to go home. So our executive director has certainly given you, Mrs. O'Keefe, excellent, excellent advice. Adele, Erica.
Yes, when I saw the two children come in this morning, I thought of my two great grandchildren, because at one of the meetings, I got excited about it, and I said, look, these two children, I must take out something with this company. And when I heard it was, what was the age, 13 and 14 probably here, but my children are 10 and 9. So I'm wondering if it was in a different category, because my sister before me did that for her nephew, and it came up to a certain amount of money when he was 18. So I imagine that this would be the same thing. I don't know the details about it. The letters used to come home, and after a while, there was many things to read. So I just sent it to I called the unit trust and asked them, I gave them a different address, a Glencoe address, so that I would not get them. But I was wondering if they would be in that same category as the children.
Thank you very much, Nigel.
So the corporation has a child investment starter plan. Is Lisa, are you here? Lisa told me a story recently about a personal experience that I would love for her to share. I'm sure she's here somewhere. Oh, she's not here. It's far more powerful coming from Lisa, but I will say that we do have child investor starter plan, which you can invest in for your children from the age of birth. So from the age of birth all the way up to when they turn 18 years old. And that plan, even the UTC allows unit holders allows people to be investors and unit holders at the age of 18. But through the CISP, the Child Investor Starter Plan, you can invest from as early as you need to. And that's very likely what they will be invested in at the age of 10 or 13. The story that that Lisa told, showed that her father placed an investment for her as a young child at, he placed the investment at $1,000. And by the time she had reached her adult years, she was sitting on well over $10,000, a very good start in life at that stage. So I wish she was here to tell, so you can hear it from her personally. But very likely that's the product that they're in.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are quickly running out of time, so we just have time for those people who are currently at the mic. So, Janice.
Good morning to the panel.
Good morning.
My question to the unit trust as an investment person, looking at the state of the US dollars problem with the banks, as a US citizen, if someone has the investment with the unit trust and you are planning to return to the United States, right now the banks are only giving you $100, $200. The unit trust, I think, is $50, and you have to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning to get a number for $50 coming from a distance. I would like to know if there is any way that the unit trust can help you to obtain a substantial amount of your investment with them in TD dollars back to US dollars, like I said, if you're planning to return back to the United States?
Thank you.
Thank you for that question again. I thought you had US dollars that were investing and wanted US dollars. Let me reiterate that the unit trust is not a primary foreign exchange dealer. And and this is a national reality, one of the realities of the economy is that it's a challenge to access US currency, to convert TT to US currency. There's a degree to which that is made a little bit easier if you have a primary dealer's license. Unit Trust does not have a primary dealer's license. And bear in mind that our primary responsibility, primary objective is investing and earning a return, whether in TT or US dollars. That's what our focus is. And so as unfortunate as it is, we're not able to guarantee or to increase the level of convertibility from TT to US. And we understand that that's a challenge across the banking sector, but because we're not a primary dealer, it makes it even a greater challenge for us to do that. But we will support the immediate transfer of any US dollars invested via wire transfer or the conversion via checks in US currency for any amount that you need.
Thank you, Nigel. Tanil.
Morning. I'm Mitra Atai, and I can probably describe myself as a part-time resident of the North Coast between Matla to Kumano. And I'm very heartened to hear the work of the UTC in terms of the foundation and the introduction of the mobile caravan. When I interact with folks up there, as say 18 and above, and older folks too, they have to traverse by public transport, maxi or private car, all the way to Sangre Grande to get financial services. So it's grossly underserved. So I want to make a plea on behalf of the residents in that area that you put on schedule your mobile caravan to take the services to that area, probably Kumana, Toko, and also to the schools. Yes. I think the folks up there will greatly appreciate the services of the UTC. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sean? It's a pleasure to be by the mail. Morning to all.
Good morning.
My name is Agnita Francis. Don't miss out the G, Agnita Francis. I stand before you all. UTC, I come from San Juan. And I have to take 2 transportation to come to draw out money. I would like you all to put mechanisms in place so that at least I can go to Sawa True Value and draw out a small pittance so I could travel. I always complaining when I go in there, I only see people putting in. They're not drawing out, whatever little. So please, I am a retiree and I have to save every cent. But what I must say, when I came to town and I asked how much I have there, when I heard, I was shocked. So I want to congratulate you all. Continue the good work.
Thank you very much, Ms. Francis. Ms. Francis, I hope you have a Visa card that allows you to access from the ATM if you need to, so you won't have to go into the branch. So that will allow you to access your substantial unit trust savings via the ATMs.
And last but not least, we have Erica.
Good morning to the head table and to unit trust holders. I have 2 questions. My first question is, I listened to Ms. Edwards and heard him talk about all these millions, and also saw on the board more millions. So what I would like to find out, when does the unit trust plan to give us investors returns on our investment? I forgot, my name is Cynthia Gittins Sifontis.
Hi, Mrs. Gittins-Sifonis. Thank you for that. I did say that we have increased our distributions between 2017 and 2018 by over 50 million. Large numbers. And I assure you that it is our plan to continue on that trajectory even this year. And as we speak, we're working very hard to make sure that the distribution for this year continues the same path. Having said that, please understand that we are in globally an environment where the interest rate environment is the lowest that it has been historically. I spoke recently about a period in 2001. 2001, I remember being a much younger member of the financial services sector, and in January of 2001, I remember the government of Trinidad and Tobago issuing bonds at 12% per annum. Then by June, I was doing a transaction in June. By June, the interest rate had come down to 8% per annum. By September of that year, some government agencies were doing loans at 6.5% per annum, all on 10-year bonds. I only say that to say that the trajectory of those rates have come down. What the corporation is doing is we are simply gathering those investments across Trinidad and Tobago and the international investment spectrum and making those returns available to you in a safe way to ensure that not only do you get the returns, but to ensure that your principal is protected, to ensure that when you invest your capital, that you get that back. And so we give you a good balance between safety and returns that you get. And that, like I said, we will continue throughout 2019, and our plan and intent is to ensure that that's better than 2018.
Thank you very much. Reserve my other question for one of the representatives.
All right, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, our time has now elapsed. Okay, I'm going to squeeze in one more.
Okay, good morning to the panel. Good morning, Mr. Edwards.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a question. When your ID card expire, right? Oh, my name is Bridget O'Gara. I'm a very established customer. All right, what happened is that I forgot my ID card home a day. And I was feeling very sad because I wanted to take out some money for my children. And the fella told around and told me I have to go back home. So I told around and told him, I said, I'm not going back home because I need the money. And the guy, I always forget his name. He is very pleasant. He identified me. So I'll be able to get the money. But what I'm saying is that put something in place, especially for the senior citizens. Because not all the time you could remember to pick up your ID card.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let us give Ms. O'Gara her time. Oh, and she's finished. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. Nigel?
Simone, I was hoping you could help me with that as being on the front line.
Sorry?
I said I was hoping you could help me to respond to that being on the front line.
Oh, okay. Look, you see, he putting me on the spot. He making me work for my last couple of days. But let me tell you, all right, Mrs. O'Gara, I hear you, and I feel your pain, and I understand that totally. However, we must remember that Unit Trust's mantra is safety, strength, and stability. And while I will very soon be a senior citizen myself, we senior citizens tend to walk with our ID all the time. All the time. But be that as it may, the only reason you may find sometimes, oh God, why are they so rigorous with this thing? Is because we want to make sure that when Ms. O'Gara presents herself to take out funds from her substantial account, that it is indeed Ms. O'Gara that we are giving those funds to. So it's not that we're trying to be, oh God, miserable or anything, but we will work with you, because just like you had that wonderful gentleman who was able to identify you, we certainly will work with you. Ladies and gentlemen, we must wrap it up now. We could stay here whole day and chat, but unfortunately, I know a lot of you have things to do, even the retirees. So, but don't worry, next year, I'm right there with all you. So I want to say thank you very much, first of all, to our lovely moderator assistants. Could we give them a hand, please? I would like to ask you, please, to visit our customer care booth, which is positioned in the foyer, for any additional assistance you may require, or, as we said before, you can chat with any one of our investment center managers in the outer lobby. They will be so pleased to help you. And listen to me, you need to visit that booth, because if you can present your documents to update your customer profile information, here's what: you have a chance to win a trip to New York. So please, ladies and gentlemen, visit our customer care booth, update your information, chat with us a while, and just enjoy the rest of your time. We would like to thank all of you for your submission of your questions here, as well as the pre-registered questions. A special thank you to the investment center managers and their teams for responding via emails. We thank all our online viewers and our audience for their participation. Your feedback continues to be a valuable contribution to the corporation. Thank you. I now hand you back to Hema.
And there you have it, folks. We've just heard a wide range of comments and questions from both our audience at Napa and from you, our online viewers. Thank you to all who contributed to the discussion.
Our online team will continue to take questions until 7 p.m. tonight via Facebook. And remember, you can always reach us via phone, our website, or our social media channels. We'd love to hear from you.
We are live at UTC's 37th Annual General Meeting, and we're just about to go back stateside, where UTC's chairman, Justice Ralston Nelson, will deliver his closing remarks.
Bring our 37th Annual General Meeting to a close. I want to thank you, our unit holders, for your attendance and participation. Without you, this would not have been possible. To those who have viewed the AGM online and on our social media platforms, it was a pleasure having you. As I said in my opening remarks, this is more than about meeting our statutory responsibility, but a forum to share with you our plans and achievements. If we are to lay claim to having the most successful financial services institution in Trinidad and Tobago, then you must be part of it. That you have all recognized the importance of being here and contributing is inspiring. Many of you would have voiced your concerns and made suggestions as to how we can improve our service. And this feedback is welcome and invaluable in building our relationship. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I'd like to thank you for your, I'd like to thank the management, leadership and management team as well, and their team of members for putting this AGM together and who spared no effort in getting this space ready. To our stakeholder representatives, I thank you for your contributions and your support today. I also want to thank the Master or Lady of Ceremonies, Ms. Hema Rankisoon, and also the very exhilarating performance by Mrs. Simone Downer. So again, thank you for joining us, and do have a good day. Visit the customer service booth and compete for the prize to New York. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending Unit Trust Corporation's 37th Annual General Meeting. We now would like to invite everyone to join us for some refreshments in the lobby area. The ushers will direct you. Thank you. We wish you a wonderful and productive week ahead and happy investing.
Nelson, UTC's chairman, with his closing remarks.
This has been the 37th Annual General Meeting of the Trinidad and Tobago Unit Trust Corporation. We thank you for joining us. On behalf of the online hosts, thank you for being a part of our live AGM broadcast.
Thank you so much. Follow the UTC and the UTC Foundation on Facebook and Instagram for all the latest exciting news and announcements from us at the UTC. Have a wonderful day, and thanks again for making us your partners for life.
See you soon. Bye.